The little girl stood alone beside the muddy street, clutching a torn blanket against the cold evening wind while the town walked past her, as though she were invisible. Her cheeks were streaked with dirt and tears. She had not eaten since morning. The owner of the boarding house had thrown her out after her mother died, and now the orphan girl sat beside the hitching post with nowhere to go. Then the sound of slow horse hooves echoed through the silent street, and, for the first time that day, someone stopped. Dust rolled through the tiny town of Black Hollow as the sun sank behind the hills. Lanterns flickered outside the saloon, and tired ranchers filled the street after a long day's work. No one noticed the orphan girl sitting near the general store. Her name was Clara Bennett. She was 19, though hardship had made her seem older. Her faded blue dress hung loosely on her thin frame, and her trembling hands gripped the blanket her mother once stitched for her before sickness carried her away. "Please," Clara whispered to a passing woman, "do you know somewhere I might sleep tonight?" The woman avoided her eyes. "I got troubles enough of my own." Another man laughed as he walked by. "That girl's cursed. First her pa died in the mines, then her ma. Best stay away." Clara lowered her head in shame. The town had decided long ago that misfortune followed her wherever she went. Then came the horse. A tall black stallion stopped directly in front of her. Its rider wore a dark coat covered in trail dust. A revolver rested at his side, and beneath the brim of his hat were tired gray eyes that had clearly seen too much pain. The cowboy studied her silently. "You alone?" he finally asked. Clara hesitated before nodding. The cowboy climbed down from his horse. "What's your name?" "Clara." He glanced toward the saloon where warm light spilled through the windows. "You eaten?" Her silence gave him the answer. Without another word, he held out his hand. "Come on." Clara stared at him in disbelief. Nobody had offered kindness in a very long time. The saloon quieted the moment the cowboy entered with Clara beside him. Whispers spread instantly. "That's Cole Dalton." "The gunslinger?" "They say he once faced 4 men alone." Cole ignored every stare in the room. He guided Clara to a table near the fireplace and nodded toward the waitress. "Bring her stew. Fresh bread, too." Clara looked at him nervously. "You don't have to do this." "Yes, I do." His voice was calm but firm. When the food arrived, Clara tried to eat slowly, but hunger betrayed her. Cole watched quietly as she finished every bite. "You ain't from here?" she asked softly. "Passing through. Most folks here don't help people like me." Cole leaned back in his chair. "Most folks forget what suffering looks like once life turns easy." His words carried pain deep inside them. For a moment, Clara noticed the faded wedding band hanging from a chain around his neck. "You lost someone," she whispered. Cole's eyes darkened. "My wife," he said quietly, "and my little boy." The room suddenly felt smaller. Clara lowered her gaze. "I'm sorry." He nodded once. "They died from fever 3 winters ago." Silence settled between them, but it was not uncomfortable. It felt like 2 lonely souls recognizing the same wound in each other. Later that night, Cole rented a room for Clara at the boarding house. The owner frowned. "You really trust her?" Cole placed coins on the counter. "I trust her more than most people in this town." Clara felt tears fill her eyes as he handed her the room key. "Why are you helping me?" she asked. Cole looked at her carefully. "Because somebody should have helped you sooner." Over the next few days, Black Hollow began talking. Some mocked Clara openly. Others warned Cole to stay away from her. But he paid no attention. Each morning, Clara helped at the stable, while Cole repaired fences outside town for extra money. Slowly, laughter returned to her voice. For the first time since her mother died, she felt safe. One evening, While Clara carried water buckets near the alley behind the saloon, 3 drunken men cornered her. "Well now," one sneered. "Looks like the orphan found herself a cowboy." Another grabbed her wrist. "Maybe she ought to thank us for paying attention." Fear flooded Clara's face. "Let go of me." Then came a sharp voice behind them. She said, "Let go." Cole stood at the end of the alley, his hand resting near his revolver. The men released Clara immediately. "You threatening us, Dalton?" one spat. Cole stepped closer. "No." His cold eyes never blinked. "I'm promising you." The men backed away and disappeared into the street. Clara's knees trembled once they were gone. Cole gently placed his coat around her shoulders. "You all right?" She nodded, though tears slipped down her cheeks. "I hate feeling weak." "You ain't weak," Cole said softly. "This town just forgot how to protect decent people." As they walked back beneath the moonlight, Clara looked at him differently for the first time. Not as a stranger, but as a man carrying kindness beneath all his scars. Days turned into weeks. Cole delayed leaving town, though he never admitted it aloud. Clara had become the reason. One afternoon, they rode together across the open plains beyond Black Hollow. Golden grass swayed beneath the wind, while distant mountains glowed beneath the setting sun. Clara laughed as her horse stumbled playfully through a shallow creek. Cole smiled faintly. "You're getting better. I had a good teacher." The warmth between them grew stronger each day. That night, they sat beside a campfire beneath endless stars. "I used to dream about leaving this town," Clara admitted quietly. "Where would you go?" "Anywhere people don't already hate me." Cole stared into the flames. "Sometimes running don't heal much." She looked at him carefully. "You still miss them every day, don't you?" He swallowed hard. "There ain't a morning I wake up without hearing my boy laugh in my head." Clara gently touched his hand. "You loved them deeply." Cole looked at her fingers resting against his rough skin. "I was afraid to care about anybody again." The fire crackled softly between them. Clara's heartbeat quickened. "And now?" Cole slowly lifted his eyes to hers. "And now I'm trying not to." For a long moment, neither moved. Then he leaned forward and kissed her gently. It was not a kiss filled with passion alone. It was grief meeting hope, loneliness meeting warmth, and 2 broken hearts finally finding shelter in each other. The peace did not last. One stormy evening, Clara overheard terrible news at the saloon. A wealthy ranch owner named Walter Briggs planned to force Cole out of town. Briggs controlled much of Black Hollow, and he hated seeing Clara accepted because of Cole's presence. "He's turning folks soft," Briggs growled, "and that girl's nothing but trouble." Clara rushed outside and found Cole near the stable. "You need to leave," she begged. Cole frowned. "What happened?" "Briggs hired men. They're coming after you." Cole's jaw tightened. "I ain't running, but they'll kill you. They'll hurt you if I leave." Rain poured harder around them. Clara grabbed his coat desperately. "I can't lose you too." Cole cupped her face gently. "You won't." But before dawn, Briggs and his men arrived. The confrontation exploded in the muddy street as townspeople watched from windows in fear. Cole stood alone in front of the stable while Briggs pointed a rifle toward him. "You should have ridden out when you had the chance." Briggs sneered. Clara suddenly stepped between them. "Stop this!" Briggs laughed cruelly. "You protecting him now? He's done more good in this town than you ever have." The crowd murmured quietly. For years, Briggs had ruled through fear. But now people began stepping forward beside Clara, the stable owner, the waitress. Even the boarding house woman lowered her shotgun toward Briggs' men. Cole stared around in surprise. The town was finally choosing courage. Briggs raised his rifle angrily. Then a gunshot echoed. Cole fired first. The bullet struck Briggs' weapon, sending it flying into the mud. The ranch owner stumbled backward in defeat as his men abandoned him. For the first time in years, Black Hollow stood against cruelty. And it happened because one orphan girl finally believed she deserved protecting. Spring arrived gently across the valley. Flowers bloomed beside the fences, coal repaired outside town, and laughter once again filled the streets of Black Hollow. Everything had changed. Clara no longer walked with her head lowered. The townspeople greeted her warmly now. Children followed her through the market square, and the boarding house owner often saved fresh pie for her by the window. But the greatest change stood beside her every morning. Cole, one evening, he led Clara to the hill overlooking town, where the sunset painted the sky gold and crimson. The wind moved softly through her hair as she looked out across the valley. "It's beautiful," she whispered. Cole reached into his coat pocket. "I spent a long time believing my life ended when I lost my family." Clara turned toward him slowly. "But then I found someone who reminded me that broken hearts still beat." Tears filled her eyes. Cole held out a small silver ring. "It ain't much." Her lips trembled into a smile. "It's everything." He slipped the ring onto her finger as tears rolled down her cheeks. "You gave me a home," Clara whispered. Cole gently rested his forehead against hers. "No, Clara." His voice cracked softly with emotion. "You gave one back to me." Below them, Black Hollow glowed beneath the evening lights, while the lonely orphan girl who nobody wanted finally stood exactly where she belonged, in the arms of the cowboy who chose her when nobody else would.